Good Wednesday morning to you all. We got another Watchmen update. This one's chock full of things like World War III updates as well as firsthand accounts from the flooding in Kentucky. We got to talk about the Russian oil tanker having two explosions below the waterline while in an Italian port. There's a known Russian oil smuggler, and the explosions were decidedly suspicious. We got two dueling peace summits, the has-beens and the current, actually relevant countries. Guess which ones want more war? We're going to be telling what's happening there. We also have updates from Kentucky, from the Watchmen on the ground, telling us what's happening and giving us updates there. We got tariffs and customs impacting China shipments, including people's individual orders coming from Amazon. So be aware of some of these changes. We have Walmart out there trashing millions of eggs, and some basic advice for those of you who are about to get your own chickens. And the deal of the day will change your freezer and your preps. I promise that. It comes from one of our viewers here on this channel, and I'll tell you where I am and what's going on here. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates that you guys are sending in from all over. If you have an update that you'd like to share, make sure you use the word update somewhere in your comment, and that will get to the right place. Before we move any further, I do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. They do help people who have retirement accounts. So if you have an IRA, 401k, and you want to get into gold, silver, or platinum, or physical metals, they can help you. I believe you can even get into cryptocurrency if you want to with your retirement account. If you want to find out more about any of that, Jonathan and his team would love to talk to you and answer your questions and see if it's a good fit for you to move some or all of your retirement account over to one of these IRA accounts. All right, like I said, I'll cover what I'm doing here in just a little bit. But first, let's start off with some of the important news items out there. You may have heard already of the airplane crash in Toronto, Canada. The flight did come from Minneapolis. The aircraft rolled over. It was a Delta flight. However, everyone did survive. So that is a welcome bit of news there. But the video out there is, it's just crazy. We got a Russian oil tanker, the Sea Jewel, suffers two explosions below the waterline while in an Italian port. It was a known Russian oil smuggler. Repeatedly transported oil from Russia to Europe, and it was just one day after the Warlord Summit in Paris, which the UK went to, Germany went to, Paris, well, the French went to, of course, because they're hosting it, and other countries, including, I believe, Italy. But these countries are really mad about getting cut out of the peace talks for Eastern Europe. And so they decided to have their own summit. And one of the things that they were talking about was starting to attack the Russian shadow fleet out there of oil tankers. And that then suddenly it happens. One must ask the question of whether they greenlit something to actually go down. If we see more Russian oil tankers suddenly going ablaze, we will have to start asking some more questions for sure. All right, on Monday, same day, there was another summit that took place in Saudi Arabia. This one only took 4 hours, had a lot less speeches. It was high-level U.S. diplomats and their Russian counterparts. They reached a deal for Eastern Europe, at least in principle. The details are still going to be hammered out a little more, it sounds like. This is following up on President Trump's phone call with President Putin to secure a peace deal, a grand peace deal in Eastern Europe as well as in other places as well. We'll see what comes of that still, but it sounds like there's going to be 3 stages to it. Ceasefire, and then it moves into an election in that Eastern European country, and then moves into a negotiated final peace settlement. All right, Sharon says, update. Unfortunately, 11 have perished here in Kentucky due to the storm Saturday. We also had a home catch fire locally and lost a husband and a father in that. Total devastation everywhere here. Stay safe all. Temps are steadily going down through Friday. That will inhibit the cleanup. Praying for all. And Dustin also in that area. Update, I am from Bardstown, Kentucky. Boston, New Haven, and other low-lying areas in this area are getting completely destroyed. The state death toll has reached 12, so slightly later than the previous reporter. And as I last heard, possibly more now, I believe it is. Then the snow will only make it much worse. Please be praying for these people. And some of that flooding did impact North Carolina again as well. Not as much as the areas of Kentucky, but that's just been a hard-hit area. The Appalachian Mountains, first the Democrats happened to it, and then down the road, lots of storms and such. Deal of the day. This is from A Maniac. No problem with freezer burn at my house. We talked about using paper, freezer paper. Since I started using a vacuum sealer. I have meat in the freezer that is at least 2 years old and is as good as when I put it in there. In the past, I have also lost a lot of food due to freezer burn. Just saying, with food so expensive these days. And so great advice out there. If you do want to get a vacuum sealer, they have them on Amazon for $29, which is 22% off the regular price. You do need to get vacuum seal bags. It comes with some bags, but you have to get more bags if you're going to use it regularly and such. But that is a great deal right now. I love my vacuum sealer. I don't believe it's this model, but you know, a lot of them are very similar. They do burn out after a while, so you do have to deal with that. You might have to replace it, but you get a bunch of life out of it before you have to seal it up. Also, you have to be careful about putting sharp objects into the vacuum seal. You can vacuum seal boomstick seeds or freedom seeds. You can vacuum other things, but make sure if there's any points that they're not sticking out at the plastic, because when it seals in, it crunches down on those points and sometimes loses suction. I tried to vacuum seal a whole bunch of spaghetti, and some of them took and some of them didn't, and mostly because some of them just actually punctured it and created some slow leaks. But that's down in the pinned comment down below. Trump 1 says Dollar Tree seed displays are a third the size of last year. What are you guys seeing? So are you guys seeing Dollar Tree and other stores putting out less seeds this year? We already talked about how the seeds this year are sprouting a lot lower than several years ago. They were just not getting the same kind of rates. Randy says the Walmart distribution center near Houston, Texas, I told you about 2 weeks ago about them throwing out 120 cubic yards of eggs. Well, that number is now up to 320 cubic yards of eggs, which is a lot of eggs, friends. And that's just from the birds that have been culled. That's just one distribution center. I think there's at least 40 distribution centers throughout the U.S. It's happening there also. Who knows? Totally ridiculous. Thanks for your videos. Yeah, any eggs that come from these farms that have their eggs, have their hens culled, they do recall all those eggs, and well, they don't actually get them recalled, they just destroy them in place. And so we're looking at millions of eggs have been destroyed by Walmart by now across the United States, and in a time where people aren't able to get eggs and the eggs are very expensive. DJ says, I had several items ordered from Amazon over the past week that were scheduled for delivery. They showed shipped, then suddenly my orders were canceled. After researching, they were all China-made items, and that is being impacted by the new tariffs that Trump has put on China, 10% tariffs. And one of the big things he did that's been flying under the radar is there used to be a de minimis exemption. So it's basically saying it's too minor for us to actually charge tariffs on. Anything that's under $800 doesn't actually get hit with tariffs. It's exempt, and that's why a lot of places like Temu and other places, they were all about shipping direct from China. They get a grand deal from the U.S. Postal Service, or at least they used to, and then they also get to avoid paying customs or tariffs on any of the products. Trump has suspended that de minimis 800 or less thing, and that's now basically anything comes in the United States is subject to tariff now. So if you're ordering off Temu or ordering off Amazon from dealers that are shipping directly from China, this may impact you. Pastor 1972 says, update, I keep getting phone calls daily and several a day from the Biden-Harris liars that Trump and Elon are stealing our Social Security benefits. So yeah, these Act Blue and other fools out there are just lying to seniors. They're doing phone calls and then they're lying to seniors about what Donald Trump and Elon Musk and the rest of the administration are actually doing, telling them that they're stealing their Social Security benefits. Yeah, that's really low. And one, like it's not even campaign season, and two, it's lies. So that's just not cool. Hopefully the FC, the Federal Communications Agency, that's FCA, right? Hopefully they crack down on these folks. Watchmen says, who has to have their name withheld, update, as an organic veg farmer, I can attest that the seeds have been bad since 2021. We waste more money on seeds that have low to no germination rate. I'm talking 0 to 10% germination rate recently. Yet, like the other lady, I pulled frozen tomatoes, 8 years old, out of the freezer and had a 80% germination rate. Just tomatoes. If you're not required organic, try and buy treated seeds. That may work for you. Regarding eggs, we stopped selling them here because we see states around us attacking and killing everyone's backyard birds. That is one thing to be remembered, is that if you're selling them, that may put you in a different bin than if you just have backyard birds and you're just consuming the eggs yourself. So just be aware of that. It's the same reason my church doesn't actually rent out our facility. It's because if we rent out our facility to someone like-minded, then we may have someone who has a very different values that wants to use our facility, and then they can sue us if we don't actually rent them the facility. So just be aware that when you sell eggs, you do, in some places, put yourself in a different category because now you're conducting business. Soon-to-be Saint says, in the country of Texas the Great, a lot less taco trucks are open. Wonder why that is, right? Good question. Wonder why that is. Short Bus Mooner says, chicks are going fast. And it's talking about, of course, birds. Holloway's Farm Supply, Land O'Lakes, Florida, no chicks at all. Owner says they come in every Tuesday morning, so you better call ahead to make sure that they still have some. And no eggs there this week. They usually have these giant double yolkers that my dad gets a kick out of, but no eggs at all. Fingers crossed for next week. Just be aware, friends, that if you're trying to get chicks right now, you might want to call ahead, find out when they actually come in, and make sure you get your butt down there to get them as soon as they get in. This is also, they had this update. Rural King, Crystal River does have chicks though. So maybe Rural King's doing a little bit better out there, keeping stock in stock. Boom says, now is the time to pick up some chicks if you can. So some things to consider, some tips if you haven't ever had chicks before or ever had laying hens. Pullets are female, so if you get pullets, they're all going to be female. There's straight run, male, straight run, female, and then there's the, if they don't say anything, then it's a mixed batch, right? You don't need a rooster to get eggs, of course, but the roosters do actually watch out for the hens. So if you're free-ranging them, the roosters, though they can get a little aggressive, they will watch out for the hens. They'll warn the other hens. They'll warn them that a bird or a hawk is coming down or something like that. A good laying breed like Barred Rocks Rhode Island Reds will provide 5 to 6 eggs a week. There's different breeds. Some are more egg-laying breeds. Others are more meat birds. Make sure you get the egg-laying ones if you want eggs. It should go without saying, but and some of them are better at free-ranging than others. And if you want to hatch your own eggs, you want ones that are really good foragers and can be independent. 3 good hens will get a dozen eggs a week. Laying feed is about $15 and will last about a month and a half for 3 hens. Doesn't take a whole lot of room in a yard. Chickens are fun and will eat bugs in your yard. Homegrown eggs have twice the protein and half the cholesterol than the store-bought ones. Beware, chickens are addicting. You will start with 3 and end up with 20. Of course. Seriously, this egg thing is ridiculous if you have any size yard at all and are not restricted by an HOA. So hopefully a bunch of you guys are already thinking about getting into chickens for the first time. If so, make sure you get some good information on that. Don't make rookie mistakes. Make sure you protect those birds like nobody's business. Make sure you have a place for them to move into that's extremely safe and secure, because people like me have lost a lot of hens due to lack of security. Make sure they have a good secure coop to get locked in, and you need to get out there and lock them in every night unless you can get some kind of thing rigged up to automatically tuck them in at night. You need to protect them from predators at night who can get through outer fencing and all that kind of stuff like that. All right, friends, I told you I'd tell you where I am. I'm actually in the Philippines. I mentioned that a little bit ago that I was in the Philippines, and that's why it's not snowing here and why it's tropical and I'm sweating. Which is much better than what's happening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania right now, where we have inches of snow and ice, which is less desirable than sweating a little bit. So I'm checking out some things here. I've talked to you guys somewhat about having alternative plans in case the United States goes sideways. Now, I've already started kind of working on some things in the works before the election took place, but I think it's still a good idea to still be moving that direction where you can have your feet in 2 countries if possible, because World War III is on the brink, and let's just say World War III in the United States is probably not going to be a good place to be. I'm just going to say it that way. I'm not really looking forward to being in World War III. You're going to want to be able to get somewhere else. That's probably going to be the amount of it. The United States thinks that it can dominate the rest of the world, but I don't think that's really true as much anymore. All right, friends, so that's what I'm doing over here. I'll be back in Pittsburgh in a couple weeks. I'm just scouting out some things and taking care of other stuff. More on that probably in coming videos. But thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up there. If you want to get some more information from Jonathan and his team at Genesis Gold, there's a link right there. Just tap on that, fill out your information, and they will get in contact with you. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of The Poplar Report, out.